Now when we make this tree, it's going to be really important that we get the scale correct. So I'm actually going to keep this in here, and I'm actually go back to my water tower, although I actually don't know what the scale is because I haven't built all these things in the same place. That could come out a little bit more as well. But like I said, I'm just kind of modeling these things as we go, learning as we go, and helping you to get some ideas here. This isn't perfect, and you'll have to fix any errors, and that's part of the learning process. Is that if you're just following a tutorial and doing exactly what I say, well, then all you'll be able to do is make exactly what I say. But if you're looking at it and going, oh well, actually Luke's done an error here, and oh, well, how can I fix that? And you go ahead and fix that, well then you've learned something, and that's the goal of these tutorials. So let's go ahead and we're going to make a pine tree again. So I'm going to start once again with the cylinder. Now I don't want to use 32, okay? I don't want to use 32. I see this all the time, people using 32 vertices, and you might think, oh, it looks more realistic because it's smoother and stuff. It actually doesn't. It becomes this bizarre, like, why is it so shiny? Why is it so smooth? Especially when compared to other low poly stuff. So when I add this in, I'm going to change this. I'm going to change it to 8. And I am going to isolate this for now. I'll scale it down in a minute. Now this bit here, I'm going to grab the isolate is / on the keyboard. I'm pretty sure I've said this plenty of times. I'm going to take that, hit GZ, and take it up. Now, if you've seen a pine tree, it's fairly big. Let's move this. Go into object mode, move it along here, just so I get the scale right. Pine trees are fairly big. So let's take that up to there. And this bottom bit, I'm going to add some ring cuts to it. Control R, pull that down like that, and select that bottom face. We'll just scale it out a little bit. And then this bit here, I'm going to add quite a few little ring cuts going up, just so that I can select them, and I'll go into like side view and just move them a little bit. We don't want it to look perfect. I'll go into the other side view. Notice that I'm not actually saying what shortcut keys I'm pushing now. So by now you should know these shortcut keys. So if you don't, go back and check some of the other videos, or drop a comment down below and I will answer that. But you should be able to figure out what I'm actually doing when I'm clicking on these and why it's selecting that whole thing. So go back and have a look at previous videos if you haven't done so already. But I'm essentially doing a ring select if you want to look it up and find that out. Okay, so we're going to extrude this up. Actually, that's good there. That's pretty good. Now I'm thinking maybe what I can do around about here is I might be able to select this. I'm going to add. I just added some more ring cuts there. Bevel this. Not quite. Ooh, that's a good idea. Let's just undo that. I won't do those ring cuts. Select one of these vertices, hit Control B, V to go into vertex mode, and then I might just extrude that face out. So we'll go face mode, we'll extrude that out that way. I'll scale it down a little bit, and I'll probably do that on a few more vertices. This one here, Control B, then V. Do it a little bit smaller. Grab that, extrude it out, scale it down. We get some little bits of branches hanging in there. If you happen to pull it too far, don't hit E to extrude it back, because it'll just go, it'll make like this weird hollow. I see that quite often as well. If you did bring it too far out, then go into top down view, select the edge and kind of move it back where you want it to go. I might make one more just to make the model look a bit more balanced. So go here, Control B, V, make a bigger one here, and E, bring that out, scale it down. I might bring it out twice here. Bring it up and kind of rotate that end a little bit. and scale it in. Cool. All right. Oh, shouldn't have done that. That didn't really make it look balanced, but okay. I'll fix that later. And this top bit, now the leaves. Okay, I'm going to do it a different way to what I did before. I'm actually going to use a separate mesh, and I'll join them together afterwards. Once again, I am going to use a cylinder. It's all the way over there for some reason. We'll move it across though. G, X, bring it to there, G, Z, bring it up. Okay, edit this. Top, scale that in the bottom. Grab that bottom and scale it quite a way out. And with this, I'm going to bring that top face up, GZ, to bring it up like that. I'm going to duplicate this up each time. Now, I could make an array, right? But the thing with an array, I'm pretty sure I can't find anywhere where I can kind of make an array but scale it at the same time. There's probably a way to do it. I haven't figured it out yet. So what I am going to do is Shift D, hit Z, bring that up but scale it down like this. And you'll see shortly what I do with this. I'm going to kind of move it a little bit and rotate it. And then Shift D, bring that up again. I'm going to the side view so I know that it's aligned properly. Shift D, bring that up. I'll rotate it that way. I'll go into the other side view. I'll scale that one down a bit, of course. Shift D, bring it up. Scale it down a little bit. Going to switch the view around, rotate it, and then Shift D, Z. Bring that up, scale it down. We'll rotate it back that way. I'll rotate it that way as well. Shift D, Z, and it's a simple process of repeating and scaling and rotating slightly. Shift D. Now I'm going to select all of these because I have made a mistake in probably not scaling them along the Z axis enough. So I'm just going to hit Z, SZ, scale them up along the Z axis, then Control A, apply that scale to it. GZ, move them up like that. Okay, now this is looking mostly good, except I want to select every second or third one and hit R and Z and just rotate them around just so that these points aren't all lining up. And I'm going to do one more duplicate at the top. I'll scale that one and make that one quite pointy actually, like that. And I might move it up a little bit more. Maybe make this one a little bit pointier as we get closer to the top, like so. Okay, and I'll just rotate that slightly. Now with this, I am going to do something that's a bit funny. So I'm going to select all of these, because in Blender 2.8 you can select multiple things and edit them all at once. And I'm going to select a couple of these nodes, pretty much every second one. Oh, did I do that right? No. There, not there, and there. Each of these has, there. Yeah, each of these has 8. So I'm just going to select every second one, and I'm going to do that all the way down. Once again, there may be a better way to do this. If there is, I don't know, and it doesn't take that long to do this. Some of you will have already figured out what I'm about to do. And yes, there are problems with it, but I think it will look okay. I'm hoping it will look okay. GZ, I'm going to pull it down and just mess that topology up a little bit. Okay, so it's not perfect. And I might just see what happens if I add a triangulate modifier to that. Nothing happens. Good. Well, that's good because that's what I want. So that has changed that and looks pretty good. I think I probably could even, actually that's what's happening. If I add a triangulate modifier to these, I'm not sure why it's only adding to that bottom one, which messes up that bit there. So I'm not going to add the triangulate modifier to it. In fact, what I am going to do is not bring them down as much. And now we do need to fix one thing, this bottom part. I'm going to inset it and scale it, and move it up just a bit in each one. So inset it quite a bit, move it up. This one, inset, move up. Just a wee bit. Inset, move up. Inset and move up. I don't want to move it up too far though. Okay, there we go. So we've got our pine tree. This pine tree here, I'm going to select the bottom part, I'll join them together. Now this pine tree is a lot better than the previous one. Looks more in the style of it. I could go ahead and add colors to it. Maybe I could have added those materials beforehand. Remember, you can reuse materials, so if you've already made a brown, just reuse it here, unless you want a different brown, of course. If you've already made a green, just reuse it here. You don't have to go and kind of reinvent it every time, or you end up with thousands of materials. And I have seen this in student projects where they just have material 1, material 2, material 3, material 4. This is really poor management, and if we're talking NCEA, you're probably going to be limiting yourself to achieved on the digital media standard because you haven't managed your assets well. If it's outcome development you're working on, definitely, because asset management is a huge part of outcome development at level 1, 2, and 3. So you need to make sure that you are managing these assets properly, giving them proper names, organizing them. It is a pretty important part of that. Okay, now there's a few more things we could do with this. We can modify this. So I'm going to hit Shift D and bring this tree out because we want to have a few variations of it. So for this one, I am going to apply a simple deform modifier to it. I'm going to bend it. We don't want to bend it that much, but I am going to bend it a little bit that way. Okay, I might duplicate it again. Bring it that way, and I'll duplicate and I'll bend it. Oops, I'm not sure what tape it does. That looks awful. Twist, what does twist do? Not really what I'm after, so let's see if the axis twists along the Z axis. Oh, that's an interesting one. You can kind of twist it, which is kind of cool because then it will twist that trunk out. So I can have a few different variations of it, but with this one in particular, I really just want to make this tree look a little bit barer. So I'm going to actually delete these vertices here. Now what that means is, I'm going to hide those. What that means is I'm going to have to extrude this pretty much up through the top there. And I might just scale it in at the top. Okay, I'll get this one and delete those vertices. Where did that go? Oh, I think I had the L, X. Yep, I had that tree selected. Okay, so now what I've got here, I can go into here and do some of those ring cuts. Control R. I'll bring that up to here. Don't worry about that twist, I'm going to turn that off for now. And then, once again, I'll hit this, Control V, V, bring that out, extrude this out, scale it down. Okay, so I get a few different variations of this tree just by making one of them. And I might add a modifier that does a bend on this. I like the bend modifier, it looks pretty cool. Okay, we can bend it along the y-axis. And so we've got one full tree, one kind of slightly bent tree, and then one tree that's it's seen better days. So we can make a few modifications to this. We could make smaller trees, bigger trees, etc. You could even just take, you know, the top 3 things off of this and add a little trunk to it, and you've got a small little shrub or a small pine tree. Okay, so there's lots of cool stuff you can do with this, especially once you've made one model. You can modify that. It's going to be way more efficient than kind of constantly creating new ones all the time.